Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. The COVID-19 pandemic is an unprecedented global crisis that has been met with an unprecedented global response. Research and development have played a central role. Since January, WHO has been working with thousands of researchers all over the world to accelerate and track vaccine development, from developing animal models to clinical trial designs and everything in between. We have also developed diagnostics that are being used all over the world, and we're coordinating a global trial on the safety and efficacy of 4 therapeutics against COVID-19. The world needs these tools, and it needs them fast. Past experience has taught us that even when tools are available, they have not been equally available to all. We cannot allow that to happen. Today, WHO is proud to be uniting with many partners to launch the Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator, or the ACT Accelerator. This is a landmark collaboration to accelerate the development, production, and equitable distribution of vaccines, diagnostics, and therapeutics for COVID-19. Our shared commitment is to ensure all people have access to all the tools to defeat COVID-19. The ACT Accelerator brings together the combined power of several organizations to work with speed and scale. Each of us are doing great work, but we cannot work alone. We're coming together to work in new ways to identify challenges and solutions together. I'm especially grateful to President Emmanuel Macron, President Ursula von der Leyen, and Bill and Melinda Gates for their leadership and partnership in co-hosting this ACT Accelerator launch. We're also grateful for the support of many world leaders who you will hear from today. And I would especially like to thank Sir Andrew Whitty and Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala for agreeing to act as a special envoys for the ACT Accelerator. We're facing a common threat, which we can only defeat with a common approach. I would now like to invite other co-hosts to speak, beginning with His Excellency, President Emmanuel Macron. Monsieur le Président, you have the floor.
Thank you, my friend. Merci beaucoup, cher ami, Monsieur le Secrétaire général des Nations Unies, Mesdames, Messieurs, les chefs d'État et de gouvernement, Monsieur le Directeur général de l'OMS, Mesdames, Messieurs. Je suis très heureux de vous retrouver, même virtuellement par cette visioconférence, pour pouvoir en effet appeler à l'action et porter cet acte de la création donc de cet accélérateur pour lutter contre le Covid-19. Et je veux commencer en rendant hommage à la fois au personnel de santé partout dans le monde se battre contre le Covid-19. Nous leur devons tant rendre hommage aux chercheurs qui se sont engagés dans tous nos pays pour lutter contre le Covid-19, qu'il soit du secteur public ou du secteur privé, et remercier les personnels humanitaires, ceux des Nations Unies et de l'ensemble des ONG qui, sur le terrain, se battent activement contre ce virus et toutes ses conséquences. Aujourd'hui, la communauté internationale, réunie sous l'égide des Nations Unies et de son agence qui est l'Organisation mondiale de la santé, avec l'ensemble des acteurs de la santé mondiale, les organisations régionales, la société civile, décide d'agir concrètement et d'unir ses forces dans un partenariat inédit pour plus d'efficacité. Et vous l'avez dit, avoir autour de la table à la fois l'Organisation mondiale de la santé qui en assurera la coordination, mais CEPI, Gavi, le Fonds mondial, United, Wellcome Trust, la Banque mondiale, la Fondation Bill et Melinda Gates, les acteurs du secteur privé pharmaceutique, les ici rassemblés, est inédit. Et je veux insister juste sur quelques points qui sont structurants pour cette initiative et gagner contre cette pandémie. On a au fond 4 piliers pour réussir. Le premier pilier, c'est notre efficacité collective pour soutenir les systèmes de soins. Je vois mon ami Cyril Ramaphosa autour de cette visioconférence. On a eu l'occasion d'échanger compte tenu de son rôle et son leadership dans le cadre de l'Union africaine. Si on veut gagner contre ce virus, on doit soutenir tous les systèmes, et en particulier les systèmes primaires de soins, pour lutter contre toutes les pandémies, et en particulier le Covid-19. Et tout ce qu'on fera contre le Covid-19 ne pourra être efficace si on n'a pas cet appui, ce soutien. C'est le rôle de l'OMS, de beaucoup aussi des fonds sectoriels que j'ai cités, parce que l'inégalité entre nos pays se construit dès ce moment-là, dans l'inégalité entre nos systèmes de soins. Et donc je pense que cette initiative, en ce qu'elle permettra d'aider les pays les plus vulnérables pour justement renforcer leur système de soins, permettre d'aller soigner y compris les communautés les plus vulnérables, parfois avec les personnels humanitaires, mais aussi de renforcer le système hospitalier et le système de soins, est indispensable. Le deuxième pilier de notre initiative, ce sont les tests, le diagnostic. L'OMS l'a dit depuis plusieurs semaines, on a tous ce défi dans nos pays qui est évidemment de développer les systèmes de tests. Il faut qu'on le rende accessible dans tous les pays du monde, y compris les pays qui sont les plus fragiles, y compris les pays les plus vulnérables. Et donc, sur ce sujet-là, c'est un défi aussi que cette initiative va permettre de porter. Et il y a un grand savoir-faire de plusieurs fonds verticaux qui sont mobilisés avec nous dans leur accès justement à la société civile, à plusieurs communautés, aux communautés les plus vulnérables, qui est indispensable. Le troisième sujet, ce sera l'accès au traitement. Beaucoup de nos chercheurs, de notre personnel soignant sont en train de coopérer. Nous le faisons en Europe, mais c'est vrai partout dans le monde, pour avoir des traitements cliniques, des essais multiples que nous sommes en train d'essayer de développer pour lutter contre l'action du virus, pour lutter contre les réactions inflammatoires, pour permettre de mieux résister au moment où les situations arrivent aux urgences. Il faut que ces traitements, nous puissions investir pour les accélérer, les développer, mais aussi en permettre l'accès dans le monde. Et ça, c'est un élément essentiel que cette initiative permettra de. Et puis, le quatrième axe, c'est évidemment celui des vaccins. Il y a beaucoup d'attentes, et je crois que ce que nous sommes en train de faire, c'est aussi de permettre d'écraser à la fois le temps et l'espace. C'est-à-dire qu'en décidant d'investir, et il y a toute l'expertise du CEPI, des grandes pharma derrière ce sujet, mais en investissant sur plusieurs solutions, plusieurs familles, d'écraser l'échelle de temps en se disant on commence à aller beaucoup plus vite parce qu'on met plus d'argent, parce qu'on investit sur différentes familles, on commence à manufacturer plus vite pour avoir un accès aux solutions qui marcheront plus rapidement, mais aussi on écrase l'espace parce qu'il est inexplicable et inexcusable face à un tel vaccin de dire c'est dans le pays où ce sera inventé, c'est dans le pays où la pharma aura investi que ce vaccin pourra être accessible. Il faut qu'au moment où on arrive à gagner ce combat, le plus rapidement possible, partout, le vaccin soit accessible à toutes les populations. Et donc, je crois que l'initiative qui est ainsi conduite par nous tous, c'est celle qui permettra de rendre accessible dans toutes les géographies, dans tous les pays, y compris les plus vulnérables, ce vaccin, parce que c'est aussi ce qui nous permettra de retrouver le plus vite possible une vie normale. Les scientifiques sont ceux qui nous diront beaucoup mieux que moi la bonne échelle de temps. On a envie de bousculer toutes les frontières. On sait que c'est très dur de le faire avant 12-18 mois, on m'avait dit au début. Certains m'ont dit maintenant, peut-être d'ici la fin de l'année, on y arrivera. Je veux croire aux solutions les plus volontaristes. Plus on se mobilisera, plus on sera unis, plus on arrivera à mettre tout l'argent public et privé mobilisable, mieux on y arrivera. Nous allons maintenant continuer à mobiliser tous les pays du G7, du G20, pour qu'ils se mettent derrière cette initiative. J'espère qu'on arrivera à réconcilier, si je puis dire, auprès de cette initiative commune, et la Chine et les États-Unis d'Amérique, parce que c'est au fond de dire la lutte contre le Covid-19, c'est un bien commun de l'humanité, et aucune division, au fond, n'a lieu pour gagner cette bataille. Et ce que je voudrais enfin retenir, c'est deux choses. On a un rendez-vous le 4 mai prochain autour de l'Union européenne autour maintenant de ce plan d'action très clair où tout le monde est uni, lever l'argent. Et je voudrais que cette méthode, on arrive collectivement à la garder en tête pour les autres pandémies, pour beaucoup d'autres luttes qu'on a à mener. Ce qu'on est en train de faire maintenant, il faut le réussir, montrer au monde que c'est possible quand on se met tous ensemble et qu'on unit nos forces. Et je rêve qu'ensuite, on arrive à avoir une telle énergie, une telle unité aussi vite pour lutter encore plus efficacement contre la tuberculose, le paludisme, le VIH et aussi beaucoup d'autres pandémies qui peut-être ont touché beaucoup plus que d'autres les pays les plus vulnérables, mais qui justifient d'aller encore plus fort, plus loin, tous ensemble. Donc merci Dr Tedros de nous réunir, merci au rôle que joue l'OMS et merci à tous les fonds, les pays, les acteurs aussi, fondations et acteurs du secteur privé d'être là aujourd'hui pour qu'on réussisse cette bataille contre le Covid-19, mais aussi cette percée que nous sommes en train de faire collectivement.
Thank you. Thank you so much, President Macron. Merci beaucoup. And our other co-host is the European Commission, and I call upon Dr. Ursula von der Leyen to make her speech. Dr. Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission. You have the floor, Madam.
Out of sharing the screen today with our partners worldwide to deliver a message of hope. Hope that we can defeat coronavirus together and that we can go back to our normal lives sooner rather than later. And I warmly welcome today's call for global action, and we are ready to respond. Indeed, in just 10 days, on the 4th of May, we will launch a global pledging effort. On that day, we will also announce next milestones of a global campaign. This campaign is to kick off an ongoing rolling replenishment. The aim is to raise 7.5 billion euros to ramp up work on prevention, diagnostics, and treatment. And this is a first step only, but more will be needed in the future. Because beating coronavirus will require sustained actions on many fronts. We need to develop a vaccine. We need to produce it and to deploy it in every single corner of the world and make it available at affordable prices. This vaccine will be our universal common good. And I want to invite everyone, governments, business leaders, philanthropists, artists, and citizens to raise awareness about the pledging effort and to help us create a united front against coronavirus. The European Union will spare no effort to help the world come together against coronavirus, because united, we will make history with a global response to the global pandemic.
Thank you so much, Dr. President von der Leyen. United, we will defeat this pandemic, this virus. Now the next speaker will be the co-chair of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Mrs. Melinda Gates. You have the floor. Okay, I think we have a technical problem. We will come back again to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and I will proceed to the next speakers. And the next speaker will be His Excellency, Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. This launch brings together world leaders, the private sector, scientific and humanitarian actors and other partners to promote health, keep the world safe, and advance the public good. Human health is the quintessential global public good. And today we face a global public enemy like no other. In an interconnected world, none of us is safe until all of us are safe. COVID-19 respects no borders. COVID-19 anywhere is a threat to people everywhere. The world needs the development, production, and equitable delivery of safe and effective COVID-19 vaccine, therapeutics, and diagnostics. Not a vaccine or treatments for one country or one region or one half of the world, but a vaccine and treatment that are affordable, safe, effectively, easily administered, and universally available for everyone, everywhere. A world free of COVID-19 requires the most massive public health effort in history. Data must be shared, production capacity prepared, resources mobilized, communities engaged, and politics set aside. I know we can do it. I know we can put people first. These new tools must be a very clear and essential example of a global public good. For too long, we have undervalued and underinvested in global public goods, a clean environment, cybersecurity, peace, and the list goes on. So let this be one vital lesson of this pandemic, the need for new urgency in support of global public goods and universal health coverage. We are in the fight of our lives, we are in it together, and we will come out of it stronger together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Secretary General. Thank you so much for your leadership. And now I move to my own continent, Africa, and I would like to invite His Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and the Chairperson of the African Union. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros. I take this opportunity to congratulate the World Health Organization on the launch of this landmark global collaboration that brings together world leaders, health scientists, and business leaders. And I wish to commend the WHO for the excellent stewardship in the fight against COVID-19, and also want to single you out for the leadership that you are providing, Dr. Tedros. We are delighted with the work that you continue to do, and we want to pledge our support. The severe consequences of this pandemic will be experienced by all countries around the world for some time to come. I appreciate the timely launch of this collaboration, as now more than ever, the world needs solidarity and cooperation to mobilize and guide all efforts and drive delivery towards equitable access to new COVID-19 diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines. The WHO has been instrumental in supporting African governments with early detection of the pandemic, the training of health workers on the continent, and also in strengthening surveillance in communities, including working with a network of experts to address the containment and prevention of the pandemic. Many of us will know that Africa is extremely vulnerable to the ravages of this virus and is in need of every possible support and assistance. As Africa, we are pleased to be part of the global effort that we are all involved in to tackle this pandemic. For its part, the African Union is handling the epidemic through its Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which is guiding the continent, working together with the WHO. We have also initiated a COVID-19 response fund to direct resources to bolster the continent's response. So for us, it is really a joy to be part of this effort to raise resources in order for all of us to get engaged in fighting against this pandemic. And to date, a number of countries on the continent have contributed money towards this effort. All our efforts should complement each other. We see this launch as an important milestone to galvanize global support and to help accelerate the work that the WHO is doing. I want to conclude by saying Africa stands ready to provide the necessary support to the work that is being done and to this effort, and to the WHO and to its leadership in Dr. Tedros. So I take the opportunity now to call upon the international community for the sake of all humanity to continue to support in fighting against this invincible enemy. So we're really delighted to be part of this collaboration, and thank you very much for making us part of this. Thank you, Tedros. Thank you very much, President Macron. Thank you very much to the Secretary General of the UN as well.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you, my brother. And now I would like to invite Her Excellency, Mrs. Angela Merkel, Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
We're having some technical issues. Can we just invite anyone who may be unmuted to mute?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, also guten Tag und guten Nachmittag, guten Abend, guten Morgen. Ich freue mich, hier dabei zu sein, wenn heute der Startschuss gegeben wird für diese so wichtige Konferenz am 4. Mai, die sich dem Kampf gegen Covid-19 widmet. Wir sind uns alle einig, dass diese Pandemie die größte Herausforderung seit Jahrzehnten ist, und ich bin sehr dankbar, dass die Weltgesundheitsorganisation ich freue mich, dass die globalen internationalen Gesundheitsakteure sich zusammengeschlossen haben und ganz im Sinne des Sustainable Development Goals Nummer 3 der Gesundheit hier eine Initiative ergriffen haben. Wir werden dieses Virus nur besiegen, wenn wir unsere Kräfte bündeln und eine schlagkräftige Allianz bilden. Die Gesundheitsakteure haben dies bereits getan, und wir sind von deutscher Seite aus bereit, dies politisch mit all unseren Kräften zu unterstützen. Und ich bin auch der Europäischen Union sehr dankbar, dass sie hier die Dinge auch mit in die Hand genommen hat. Zentral, und wir wissen alle, dass wir mit der Pandemie leben müssen, bis wir einen Impfstoff gefunden haben. Zentral ist also die Entwicklung eines solchen Impfstoffs, natürlich auch von Therapeutika und natürlich auch von Diagnosemethoden. Und ich stimme dem UN-Generalsekretär zu, es handelt sich hier um ein globales öffentliches Gut, diesen Impfstoff zu produzieren und dann ihn auch in alle Teile der Welt zu verteilen. Das wird eine große Kraftanstrengung sein, wenn wir einmal einen solchen Impfstoff haben. Und deshalb unterstützen wir mit ganzer Kraft die Konferenz am 4. Mai. Wir wissen, dass noch eine ziemlich beachtliche finanzielle Lücke zu schließen ist. Und deshalb möchte ich auch alle aufrufen, egal ob aus der Politik oder aus der privaten Wirtschaft, die in der Lage sind, uns zu unterstützen, um diese finanzielle Lücke von 8 Milliarden Euro, so wie uns das Global Preparedness Monitoring Board gesagt hat, zu schließen und dann wirklich sicher auf dem Pfad zu einer Entwicklung zu sein. Wir werden neue Methoden gehen müssen, auf der einen Seite der Entwicklung und parallel des Aufbaus von Produktionskapazitäten, und zwar möglichst an vielen Stellen der Welt für so einen Impfstoff. Und wir wissen, dass wir Regionen haben, die besonders stark betroffen sind. Der Präsident Südafrikas und Präsident der Afrikanischen Union in diesem Jahr hat darauf eben hingewiesen. Und deshalb ist unser Engagement für Afrika, aber auch für andere ärmere Länder auf der Welt von so entscheidender Bedeutung. Ich begrüße also, dass heute sozusagen der Startschuss gegeben wird. Deutschland wird sich mit einem substanziellen Beitrag an dieser Konferenz beteiligen. Und ich rufe alle auf, dieses so große globale Ziel mit zu unterstützen. Es zeigt sich hier, ob wir wirklich miteinander zusammenarbeiten können zum Wohle vieler, vieler Millionen Menschen. Und ich begrüße alle, die hier mitmachen und werde auch weiter dafür werben, dass wir möglichst viele Akteure für den 4. Mai dann in wenigen Tagen finden. Herzlichen Dank, Tedros, dass du heute die Initiative ergriffen hast. Herzlichen Dank, Emanuel. Herzlichen Dank, Ursula und Melinda Gates für diese Initiative. Wir werden als Co-Hosts dann mit dabei sein am 4. Mai.
Vielen Dank, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for your leadership. Now we move to Latin America, and I would like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Carlos Alvarado, President of the Republic of Costa Rica. Your Excellency, you have the floor, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros. Good afternoon y buenos días acá desde Costa Rica. Representando a Costa Rica, para mí es un honor ser testigo de esta iniciativa y también apoyarla de manera decisiva para que todas las personas a través del mundo puedan tener acceso al desarrollo, a la producción de los tratamientos necesarios para combatir el COVID-19. El COVID-19 tiene una particularidad que no distingue si un país es grande, si es pequeño, no distingue si un país es rico, de renta media o pobre. De igual forma, la reacción global no debe hacer distinciones, sino debe ser absolutamente solidaria y del humanismo más profundo en este momento de la historia. Costa Rica respalda profundamente el multilateralismo y hoy más que nunca lo necesitamos. Por eso para nosotros es un honor estar aquí y ver hacia futuro esa posibilidad de que las vacunas, los tratamientos y toda la materia de testeo masivo esté disponible para todas las personas alrededor del mundo. El pasado 23 de marzo enviamos una nota al doctor Tedros para que hiciéramos una iniciativa junta común para construir un pool, un repositorio de patentes para poder poner a disposición de toda la humanidad la tecnología que apoye esta batalla contra el COVID-19. Puedo informar que hemos avanzado en ese trabajo y previo a la Asamblea Mundial de la Salud queremos compartir esto. Hoy para Costa Rica es un honor apoyar de manera decisiva este Act of Acceleration. Tengamos en mente que esto es un ejemplo y que los ciudadanos del mundo miran a nuestros líderes en este momento a espera de acción. Así como se está actuando en el campo de la salud el día de hoy, tiene que ser un ejemplo para que también actuemos en otros campos, como las finanzas de todos los países alrededor del mundo, pues esta situación pone mucho estrés a nuestras haciendas públicas. Felicitar a todos los co-hosts que lanzan esta iniciativa y desde Costa Rica todo nuestro apoyo y enviarles un caluroso saludo a la distancia. Venceremos el COVID juntas y juntos. Gracias, Dr. Tedros, my brother.
Muchas gracias, hermano. Thank you so much for your leadership, and thank you so much also for taking the initiative to send me the letter. And this is part of what we're doing now, and we're really proud of your initiative. And now we move into Italy, and I would like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Giuseppe Conte, President of the Council of Ministers of the Republic of Italy. Thank you, grazie mille for joining, Your Excellency. The floor is yours.
Mr. Secretary General, Mr. Director General, dear friends, as you all know, Italy has been since the beginning at the front line of this fight against COVID-19. We have learned on our skin many lessons. First of all, that the virus has no borders. This is why we have immediately promoted international cooperation. Foreign Minister Di Maio has actively campaigned for an international vaccination alliance in an international fora. And we are grateful to the World Health Organization and other partners for having taken forward our appeal. We are proud to be part of this global alliance. I would like to dedicate its launch to those who lost their lives in the fight against COVID-19 and to those who are still struggling. A special thought goes to our true heroes, doctors, nurses, and health workers. Their sacrifice will not go in vain. While we are all still coping with the dramatic impact of the pandemic, there is one thing that we understand well. Finding and distributing the vaccine is the only way to win this battle. Let me commend the many researchers and institutions that are working to make this happen, showing that scientific progress is a shared wealth. As leader, though, it's our responsibility to support their work by promoting good governance, transparency, mutual accountability, in order to ensure universal, equitable, and accelerated access to the vaccine and treatments. I'm confident that our alliance will grow in the spirit of effective multilateralism, putting together our best brains and resources in the interest of the entire mankind. The Italian government is sparing no efforts to protect its people and gradually restart its social and economic engine. Also, you can be sure that Italy will keep up to its tradition of global solidarity. We will stand by our partners in this common endeavor, and you can count on Italy. Together, we'll make it. Thank you very much.
Together, we will make it. Thank you very much. Grazie mille, Your Excellency. Now, I would like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Moussa Faki Mohammed, Chairperson of the African Union Commission. Your Excellency and my brother Moussa, please, you have the floor. I think voice is not.
Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs d'État et du gouvernement, Monsieur le secrétaire général, Monsieur le directeur général, continent de 1,3 milliard d'habitants et dont les systèmes de soins ne sont pas des plus performants. L'Afrique s'est dotée d'une stratégie continentale conjointe pour lutter contre le COVID-19. Cette stratégie repose sur la coopération, la coordination et la collaboration. Notre conviction est que ce n'est que par le biais de l'innovation et la science que nous gagnerons la bataille contre le COVID-19. Innovation pour le développement du diagnostic, innovation pour le développement des vaccins, innovation pour le développement des traitements. L'Afrique comme continent est fortement engagée à collaborer avec tous les partenaires, États, acteurs du secteur privé, organisations internationales sous-régionales, instituts de recherche, ONG, société civile, pour faire avancer toute innovation basée sur la science et l'éthique de nature à contrôler et à terme vaincre le COVID-19. L'Afrique participera et collaborera à travers son instrument qui est Africa CDC à tous les efforts garantissant un accès à temps opportun et de façon équitable. J'insiste sur le mot équitable au niveau diagnostic et plus tard au vaccin et au traitement. En écrasant le temps et l'espace, pour reprendre la formule du président Macron, c'est absolument essentiel. L'Afrique encourage vivement tout le monde à financer cette œuvre salvatrice. Montrons-nous tous à la hauteur de la responsabilité qui est la nôtre. Il y va de la survie de l'humanité tout entière. Le jeu vaut plus que la chandelle. Je vous remercie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your leadership and for the continent-wide strategy that you're leading. Now we move into Saudi Arabia, and I would like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Mohammed bin Abdullah Al Jaddan, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, G20 Presidency. Your Excellency, you have the floor. Okay, I think we have a technical problem. Can you hear me, Your Excellency? Okay, we then move into the next program. The next 5 will be video messages from leaders, and we will replay the message from the co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Ms. Melinda Gates, please.
The moment we're living through right now is a reminder that we're all part of the same global community. As new diagnostics, treatments, and vaccines become available, we have a responsibility to get them out equitably with the understanding that all lives have equal value. COVID-19 knows no borders, and defeating it will require action and investment across sectors and countries. The collaboration we're seeing today, along with the commitments we make at the upcoming Global Response Summit, will help the world rise up to meet this big challenge.
Thank you, Melinda. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is co-hosting this launching event, and they're one of the co-leads of this effort. And now we move into a message from His Excellency, President Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, and Chairperson of the NEPAD Heads of State and Government Orientation Committee.
The COVID pandemic reminds us that global equity in health is absolutely critical. No one is safe unless we're all safe. Essential health technologies must be available wherever needed. We must deploy everything we know about international solidarity to fight COVID together. This is why the new global collaboration for new COVID-19 tools is so important. This coalition brings together 8 of the world's leading health and development organizations, and philanthropies. By joining forces to accelerate the development of tests, vaccines, and treatments, we can end the pandemic sooner. The commitment to ensuring equal access is the key. As the African Union's leader for domestic health financing, I wish to emphasize the importance of the upcoming pledging event. We have to be accountable to the citizens we serve and to each other. The global collaboration can count on Rwanda's active support.
Thank you. Then now His Excellency Mr. Muhyiddin Mohamed Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia and Chairperson of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC.
Good morning, my fellow heads of states and governments, Madame Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, and WHO Director General, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus. I am honored to join this important global call. COVID-19 has impacted all of our lives and the global economy in ways never before experienced in living memory. The only way we can destroy this common invisible enemy of ours is through solidarity and cooperation. The world needs to come together to coordinate our efforts and expedite the development of effective tools to stop the spread of this disease. The role of the United Nations remains one of our strongest modalities to curb this pandemic in a manner that can ensure that the arsenals in this war that we are fighting can reach everyone, everywhere, in the shortest time possible. Never before has the clarion call to leave no one behind been more important than it is now. Malaysia therefore fully supports this landmark global collaboration to accelerate development and production of tools and vaccines and to assure equitable global access to new COVID-19 essential health technologies. Malaysia is fully committed to being part of this time-bound effort and to take on the manufacturing of some of these tools and vaccines as they become available. And I urge leaders across the globe, donors, the private sector, and the scientific community to support this important effort to win this war against COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we go back to Riyadh. I think we're reconnected. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Your Excellency, Mr. Mohammed bin Abdullah Al-Jadan, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the G20 President. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon and morning or evening, Your Excellencies. Let me begin by thanking the global health actors, Bill Melinda Gates Foundation, CB, Gavi, the Global Fund, UnitedAid, Wellcome Trust, the World Bank, and the WHO for launching this initiative. And I also wanted to thank WHO for taking the effort in hosting this important event. I would like also to thank every head of state, every other participant who's with us today and making the time to support this initiative. We are still faced with an extraordinary uncertainty about the depth and duration of this health crisis. And the world counts on us to come together and cooperate to face this global challenge. The Saudi G20 presidency took the lead and worked with its partners and relevant organizations to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. The G20 will continue reinforcing the global cooperation on all fronts, and most importantly, in closing the immediate financing gap for the health sector. Today, the Saudi G20 presidency launched a page on its Saudi G20 website, the G20.org, to track contributions towards meeting the health financing gap of $8 billion as outlined by the Global Preparedness Monitoring Board. As of today, about $2 billion have been pledged, which leaves about $6 billion of remaining gap. Saudi Arabia has already pledged $500 million to the relevant international organizations and the global health to support the global efforts. This contribution will support emergency and preparedness response, developing and deploying diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines, and contributing to ensuring sufficient supplies of protective equipment for health workers. It is critical to continue investing to accelerate development, production, and equitable global access to new COVID-19 essential health technologies. Therefore, we welcome and strongly support this initiative. But this is not enough. We might face a similar situation in the future, facing a virus that is deadly, disrupting the lives of people, and pushing nations to shut their borders and impose lockdowns. In order for us to deal with future pandemics effectively, we have to invest in strengthening our preparedness and response systems. That is why the G20 is working with the relevant international organizations to assess the gaps with a view to establishing a global initiative on pandemic preparedness and response, so that when we are, or our kids for that matter, face a similar situation in the future, we are better prepared to respond to it, saving people's lives, safeguarding their well-being, and it would be the smartest investment for us all to make today. Thank you very much.
Shukran jazilan, Your Excellency, and Ramadan Kareem. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you. And now we move into having our messages from our leaders, and the next will be Her Excellency Ms. Erna Solberg, Prime Minister of Norway.
People and governments across the world are now asking the same urgent questions. How can we test enough people for COVID-19 infection? How can we give better and more effective treatment to those who are ill? And how can we secure fair distribution of vaccines when available? With the launch of this global collaboration, we have a unique opportunity to answer these questions. By committing to working together, we can accelerate development and production of diagnostics, treatments, and vaccines against COVID-19. And we must commit to a system of fair global access, because as long as the virus is active somewhere, we are at risk everywhere. Norway supports this unique collaboration. I encourage all others to do the same. In the fight against the coronavirus, we must leave no one behind.
Tax Kaduha, Your Excellency. And next we will move to Spain, and His Excellency, a message from His Excellency, Mr. Pedro Sanchez, Prime Minister of Spain.
Hello, my name is Pedro Sanchez. I'm the Prime Minister of Spain. We are in the midst of an unprecedented crisis, but we have the chance to act decisively and come out stronger from it. As long as there are people infected anywhere in the world, none of us will be safe. I am committed, my country is committed to doing whatever it takes to avoid anything similar from happening again in my country, Spain, or anywhere else. We firmly believe that solidarity and multilateralism are the only way forward, and we have declared so publicly. Now it's the time to walk the talk, and today I believe we're taking a decisive step in the right direction. Spain, my country, is firmly committed to the leadership of the United Nations and to the central role of the World Health Organization in dealing with the global efforts to fight the pandemic and its impacts on people and prosperity. Going forward, we must strengthen the multilateral architecture and enable it to respond faster and more effectively. In order to counter COVID-19, we need vaccines, effective treatments, and fast and reliable tests. We need them soon. And most importantly, everybody needs them. Everybody needs them. It is imperative to develop the capacity to produce and distribute them at a scale and at affordable prices. They must be accessible to everyone and every country in the world. In the fight against COVID-19, no one should be left behind. We must move away from fragmented individual efforts towards a collaborative approach. The magnitude of investment needed, the risks attached, the fear from regulatory and market change are all real obstacles in the quest for a vaccine. No private company, no government, no country alone can escape them. Partnerships are the only solution. Today, we're calling for action. Together, we can find the tools needed to address the crisis faster and better. Spain, my country, stands with you. My dear friends, you can count on our full support. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Your Excellency. Now, a message from His Excellency, Mr. Dominic Raab, Secretary of State of Foreign Affairs and Commonwealth Affairs, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I would like to use this opportunity to appreciate my friend, Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He has been very, very keen on this initiative from the start and following up even while he was still unwell. And I would like to express my great respect and appreciation for his commitment to this initiative. And I hope he is now proud that it has reached this level and the whole world is behind this initiative. Thank you, Boris. And please, next message.
Let me start by thanking the World Health Organization and Dr. Tedros for convening this event. The Prime Minister asked me to convey that today's announcements have his full support. Now, we all know that COVID-19 is the biggest global threat the world has faced in a generation. For our part, the UK is striving to tackle the effects of the virus at home, whilst at the same time galvanising international action to drive the development of and fair access to a vaccine. The UK is one of the biggest donors to the international response. We have already pledged £744 million, and that includes £250 million of UK aid for the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations to rapidly develop a coronavirus vaccine. We're supporting the University of Oxford and Imperial College London in their research to develop vaccines, contributing £42.5 million to support their work through clinical testing. And yesterday, the University of Oxford started phase 1 human safety trials. But as coronavirus has shown, in our interconnected world, diseases have no borders. And so it's only through coming together and collective solutions that we'll be able to defeat this virus. That's why the UK is proud to support the WHO's call to action. We welcome global health partners coming together to accelerate progress towards a vaccine. And we look forward to supporting the Global Coronavirus Response Summit on the 4th of May, which will drive forward our collective global effort to tackle coronavirus. It will ensure that desperately needed resources for research and development of new vaccines, therapeutics and diagnostics are made available so that we can overcome this disease. And we also look forward to working with Sir Andrew Whitty and Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala in their role as the new vaccine envoys. The UK will host the Global Vaccine Summit virtually on the 4th of June, where we need to fully fund Gavi and make sure Gavi's expertise and capacity are at the heart of our efforts to ensure equitable access for any vaccine. And just finally, I want to say the UK is proud to be standing side by side with our international partners in the fight against coronavirus. By working together, we can develop an affordable vaccine which is accessible to everyone who needs it as quickly as possible to end this pandemic once and for all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now we move to our key partners. They have been waiting online, listening to our leaders from all over the world. And I will start with Dr. Seth Berkley, Chief Executive Officer, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, who has been working very hard to make this launching a reality. My brother, you have the floor. Seth.
Thank you, Dr. Tedros, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. COVID-19 is truly a global problem and requires a global solution. To do so, we need the best science globally and to bring those solutions to all people. That is why I am so glad to be working with all of my other sister organizations to try to accelerate COVID-19 tools. As you know, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, currently helps vaccinate nearly half the world's children as part of its mission to save lives, reduce poverty, and protect the world against the threat of epidemics. We need other tools, but you will have heard it said that without a vaccine, we will never defeat this pandemic. This is likely true. And what this means is that we need to devise and deliver a vaccine program to get billions of doses out at a speed and scale never before contemplated, let alone achieved, the most rapid vaccine deployment in history. Gavi has a unique role to play in this global collaboration. With over 2 decades of experience at introducing nearly 500 new vaccines, we can help identify and prioritize the most suitable vaccines to make this momentous task possible and to scale up manufacturing at risk so that we have adequate supplies. Lastly, the infrastructure we have helped put in place in the countries we support, right down to the community level, will help us ensure not one person gets left behind. This is what Gavi was set up to do. We are already helping countries deliver vital testing and other equipment and working to maintain life-saving immunizations even as countries face up to the pandemic. The expertise and the structures to defeat COVID-19 are in place. Today, in this esteemed company, I'm proud to say we now have the commitment. We look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth, and thank you, Gavi. Gavi and Global Fund actually have reprogrammed their funding from day one to fight COVID, and I would like to recognize that, and thank you so much for your leadership. Now I go to Peter Sands, the Executive Director, the Global Fund to fight AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. Peter, my friend, you have the floor.
Right. Thank you, Tedros. The Global Fund is committed to playing our part in this extraordinary and crucial partnership. Given our role, we're focusing primarily on the deployment of life-saving therapeutics and diagnostics, strengthening the vital systems of health to deliver the services, and also acting to mitigate the potentially disastrous knock-on impact on HIV, TB, malaria, diseases that kill 2.7 million people a year, and where we risk surrendering the tremendous gains we've made in recent years. In fighting COVID-19, in fact, we should learn the lessons from these earlier pandemics, from the fight we've had against HIV, TB, and malaria. First, we absolutely need new tools, and we need them fast. And we need to pursue vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics with equal vigor. A vaccine is the best answer, but it is not the only answer. It's worth reflecting that in the fight against HIV, TB, and malaria, despite huge efforts, we still don't have a vaccine against any of them. But with diagnostics, therapeutics, and prophylactics, we have demonstrated that we can achieve massive reductions in mortality, and many parts of the world have eliminated these diseases as threats to public health. Second, we must recognize that developing new tools is essential but not enough. We must make sure the people who need them get them. The lessons from AIDS must be learned. Too many millions died before antiretroviral medicines were made widely accessible, in large part through the creation of the Global Fund. In the fight against COVID-19, we must leave no one behind. Third, access to drugs is also not enough. These have to be delivered within a system of care. This takes money, infrastructure, capacities. For example, less than a third of the cost of the fight against AIDS, TB, and malaria is the cost of the biomedical tools. And finally, we need everyone engaged in this fight. And above all, we need the communities that are most affected. Defeating COVID-19 and mitigating the impact on HIV, TB, and malaria will need not just the engagement of these communities, but their leadership. To defeat COVID-19, we must unite to fight. We must unite to fight this common threat to humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And now we move to our other key partner, sister organization. I prefer to say what Seth said, Chief Executive Officer of the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation, CEPI, Dr. Richard Hatchett. Richard, you have the floor.
Thank you, Dr. Tedros. It's an honor to be here today to commit CEPI to work as part of the ACT Accelerator. The establishment of the ACT Accelerator is a watershed moment in the world coming together to develop a global exit strategy from the COVID-19 pandemic. The challenge we face in medical, humanitarian, and economic terms is unprecedented. We can meet it only by bringing together the combined strengths of governments, multilateral institutions, the private sector, and civil society. Everyone must have access to the tools and countermeasures, including vaccines, that we will develop through the ACT Accelerator. Science and policy must align in their commitment to equity and justice. We cannot meet the ongoing threat of COVID-19 one country at a time. COVID-19 anywhere is a threat everywhere. Today, there is hope. By bringing together the collective strengths, resources, and expertise of the institutions that will contribute to the ACT Accelerator, we can end this pandemic together. CEPI is proud to be part of this global collaborative effort.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much for your partnership. And now we move to UNITAID. The next speaker will be Executive Director of UNITAID, Mr. Felipe Donetan. Please, Felipe.
Thank you, Dr. Tedros, Your Excellencies, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. These extraordinary times demand that the global health community stand in solidarity to find solutions to defeat and eliminate COVID-19. We also need to take care of people who were and still are under threat of other diseases. And just to pay attention, tomorrow is also the Malaria Day. But this global threat requires an unprecedented global response. The launch of the ACT Accelerator today is key to strengthen and accelerate the world coordinated response against COVID-19. We all know that we need a vaccine, but also, as soon as possible, we need test and treat approach that requires new treatment, better and faster diagnostic. This solution needs to work everywhere, including countries with weak health systems, and we need to ensure access to all those in need, including health and community workers. And we believe we, as part of the health community and with industry, we can make it. To succeed, we must rely on science and good R&D and ensure equitable and affordable access to this new tool. This is also the core activities of UNITE's mandate. This requires close collaboration with all partners in the response. This is the commitment we are making today. UNITED has already started and will actively collaborate alongside partners supporting an urgent and ambitious response to the COVID pandemic. It is the combat of our life, and we will do everything we can to succeed. Thanks for the head of states from the North and the South. Thanks for WHO to help all of us to make this happen for the people of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Felipe. Thank you, UNITAID. Now we move to this to IFRC, the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Movement, and the Secretary General, Mr. Jagan Chapagain. Please, Jagan, you have the floor.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by thanking Dr. Tedros for his leadership of WHO in this difficult time. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies is fully committed to this global collaboration, the ACT Accelerator. As the largest volunteer-based humanitarian network, we join the call to assure equitable global access to new COVID-19 essential health technologies, starting from the most vulnerable communities in difficult and fragile contexts. Developing technologies, be it vaccines, drugs, or diagnostics, is a very important first step. Ensuring fair allocation and timely delivery to all in need is the greatest challenge. The time to prioritize equity is now. This means putting the most disadvantaged communities at the center of our collective response to this pandemic. We in IFRC pay tribute to 14 million Red Cross Red Crescent volunteers and all other volunteers for their heroic work at the community level in more than 192 countries. And we offer this network in support of this global effort to ensure that no one is left behind in this humanitarian crisis. The power of our humanity is and will be measured by how we collectively protect the weakest among us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagan. Thank you, IFRC. Now I would like to invite my brother, Sir Dr. Jeremy Farrar, Director, Wellcome Trust. Jeremy, you have the floor.
Dr. Tedros, Your Excellencies and colleagues from around the world, thank you very much for bringing us together. Amidst the horror of this pandemic, this partnership does offer us our greatest hope, and also by bringing everybody together, the greatest chance to deliver. The whole world is affected, and the whole world must come together to find an equitable way through this. We must leave no one behind, as we've heard repeatedly today. Physical distancing, testing, isolation, and the best clinical care are absolutely crucial now. But this is now a human endemic infection. It will not disappear. This is not SARS. The only true exit strategy is through science and the manufacturing of that science and the equitable distribution to the world to make sure everybody receives it independent of their ability to pay. And we do need all. We need diagnostics, we need treatment, and we need vaccines, and we have to have the capacity to deliver them, not just make them. This is what this unprecedented partnership can, and this is what this unprecedented partnership will deliver. Thank you to the inspirational comments and support from all the world leaders, to the WHO, to the global agencies, to citizens and to philanthropy, and also to the private sector who have come together under the coordination of the WHO in an unprecedented way to address an unprecedented crisis. A chance to end this pandemic through multilateralism, and out of this pandemic and out of this crisis, the chance to actually forge a better world which is more equitable and which commits to public health. That is the prize of our time. Yes, for COVID, but actually beyond COVID to the whole of public health. And it's a question of social justice and equity. It's a question of the sort of world that we want to live in. Thank you, Dr. Tedros. Thank you to yourself, the great leadership through this, but also thank you to your great team alongside you who have made this happen. And it has not been always easy. And I pay tribute to all the healthcare workers all over the world who are putting their lives at risk so that all of us can be that little bit safer. The hard work starts now, and nobody should be under any illusion this is going to be incredibly hard work. But together we can, together we will, and together we must. Dr. Tedros, thank you very much for your leadership.
Thank you, Jeremy. I fully agree. Together. And I also would like to borrow your word, a better world out of this difficult situation. Thank you so much for reminding us that. You have heard from our political leaders, our agency leaders, and now the next group will be the business leaders. We don't believe that this initiative will succeed without the private sector. So I have colleagues who will be speaking representing the private sector. The private sector is central to the success of this initiative. And I would like to invite Mr. Thomas Coney, Ambassador Thomas Coney, Director General, International Federation of Pharmaceutical Manufacturers, IFPMA. You have the floor, Thomas.
Now I'm unmuted. Thank you, Dr. Tedros. The biopharmaceutical industry is acutely aware of the enormous responsibility we have to patients and society to engage in unprecedented levels of collaboration to find a solution to COVID-19. We stand ready to bring to this partnership our unique knowledge and expertise in the discovery and development of medicines and vaccines, as well as our experience in building manufacturing capacity and distribution networks. Today, scientists in the public and private sector hold the keys to our common goal, the swift end of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are proud to be part of this landmark global partnership and are fully committed to its goal to accelerate development, production, and equitable global access to safe, effective, and affordable COVID-19 therapeutics and vaccines. In the fight against COVID-19, we must ensure that no one is left behind. We will only succeed in this journey together. Thank you, Dr. Tedros.
Thank you so much, Thomas. And now we move to another colleague, Ms. Hanan Subol, Chair, the International Generic and Biosimilar Medicines Association. Madam, you have the floor.
Tedros, Your Excellency, alongside the need for the novel treatments to combat COVID-19, there is a tremendous need for existing medicines to treat infected patients. The global generic and biosimilar medicines industry, IGBA, is living up to its vision to improve access to those cost-effective quality medicines worldwide. We call on the global community and political leaders to support this landmark collaboration to ensure that every single patient around the globe is treated. Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed. And now the next speaker will be the President of the Developing Countries Vaccine Manufacturers Network, Mr. Sai Prasad. I think if you can unmute probably.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tedros. We, the Developing Country Vaccine Manufacturers Network, hereby express our steadfast commitment to support COVAX's objectives. Our network of manufacturers supply more than 3 billion doses of vaccines in 170 countries every year. Our commitment to COVID access is expressed in 3 distinct ways. First, many companies in our network are developing vaccines against COVID-19. Second, our network of manufacturers are based across countries around the world with manufacturing facilities, capacities, and expertise, which are ready to be deployed when vaccines are available for COVID-19. Third, and most importantly, we continue to manufacture and supply other life-saving vaccines, which are critical for global public health. Dr. Tedros, the co-hosts, Your Excellencies, we appreciate the opportunity to serve the global community with this call to action. And we leave you with the statement, leave no one behind. Thank you.
Leave no one behind. Thank you, Dr. Prasad. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Thank you. So we have listened to our political leaders, agency leaders, business leaders, and now I will move into our other speakers. 2 of them are special envoys, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and also Sir Andrew Whitty. So I will start with Ngozi. My sister, you have the floor, and congratulations, and thank you also for accepting our challenge to be a special envoy for this very, very important initiative, ACT and Accelerate. Thank you. Ngozi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Tedros. Thank you for your leadership under these difficult times. Thank you, Your Excellencies, for coming together on this global endeavor. I won't say much except to say it's an honor to accept this task, to serve the global common good, and to act as a bridge to the developing world, especially to my continent, Africa. Equity, access, and affordability are the key tenets of our efforts and should remain the key tenets. We must all come together and work to achieve all this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ngozi. Thank you so much indeed. And Ngozi is also selected as special envoy by His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa to lead the COVID response event in Africa, and she will act as a bridge between Africa and this initiative, and that will be a very, very important role. So having said that, now I'll move to Sir Andrew Whitty, former CEO of GSK, and now our special envoy. You have the floor, and thank you so much for accepting to really lead this effort. Thank you.
Dr. Tedros, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm humbled to have been asked to undertake this role to support this unprecedented coalition. And all I want to say simply today is I'm absolutely committed to working with all of the partners to build on all of the work that's been done already, to avoid duplicating work, to help catalyze the fantastic efforts that have already been undertaken, with a mission to achieve great equitable access to the various tools that we know we need to deal with this pandemic. Please count on me for open-minded, energetic support and engagement. And I simply ask in return for your support and collaboration in helping us to work forward to bring this to an end as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Andrew Whitty. So we're coming to the end of our launch. Thank you so much to all our political leaders who have given your support and for your leadership. And thank you also to our agency leaders, to our business leaders, and also to our envoys. This is everybody's business, as you said, and we will do everything to make this initiative a success as partners. And I would also like to end this launch by reminding you that May 4th will be the pledging event that will be hosted by European Commission, and you have already heard from President Ursula von der Leyen and other participants of this launch, and we hope to see you all then on May 14 to make the pledging event a success. So thank you so much again from our side, and united we can defeat this virus, and we have to fight it in unison. Thank you so much again. May 4. Again, sorry, I think I said May 14. The pledging event is May 4. And let's join the European Commission and President Ursula von der Leyen to make this pledging event a success. May 4 is the date. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedros, and thanks to all our guests. We will have a transcript available from this event in hopefully next couple of hours, because there were little audio issues with some of the speakers, so hopefully that will be helpful. We will be also sending you documents regarding this event, as well as other news from WHO regions and country offices. Next press conference on COVID-19 will be on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.